Hello, in this lesson we will look at physical and chemical changes. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to explain physical and chemical changes and give examples. How many physical and chemical changes can you spot? Take a look at the photos. You can pause the lesson and resume when you are done. Now you can see that physical and chemical changes happen around us all of the time. For instance, melting is a physical change because you can't easily get the substance back to what it was before by lowering the temperature. Frying, cooking, oxidation, decay are all examples of chemical change because you make something new and you cannot easily reverse the product back to what it was originally. Then dissolving again is easy to reverse. Now, what are physical changes? Physical changes happen when, for instance, a substance changes state, so you can't easily get it back to what it was at the start. For instance, when you put water, which is at liquid state in the freezer, it freezes. Taking it out, putting it under the sun, leaving it for a while, it will change back to what it was, liquid. Now, we can use particle diagrams to show what is happening. You can see here, like in other solid, the particles are closely packed together, arranged in regular pattern. But if you heat, you distort that arrangement because the particles within gain energy and the bonds are forced apart. So we can use graphs like this to show what is happening. So you can see changes of state around here and around here. What is happening? You can see the graph flatlining because the energy that you're supplying, the heat, is being used to force or break the bonds. So the temperature, the graph is not rising because the temperature is concentrating on forcing the bonds apart to prepare for this state. Afterwards, you get to this state again, there's nothing happening in terms of the graph rising. It is flatlining because the energy, the heat energy, is focused on preparing for the next state, which is the gas state. Again, this is a diagram to show what's happening. You can see the red line. When the substance absorbs heat, then there's a change of state. If it loses heat, then there's a change of state as well. So just take your time, look at the graph and the diagram and understand what's happening. What are chemical changes? If you mix two or more substances together, a chemical change can happen if you meet the right conditions. Now, when a chemical change happens, you get something completely new and different to the starting materials, and you cannot easily reverse a chemical change. Chemical change is also called chemical reaction. Now, how can you tell sometimes when a chemical reaction is happening? You can notice a change of color. You can go from maybe colorless or clear to bright red. Heat can be given off. If you feel the boiling tube or test tube, it can feel very warm. That's an exothermic reaction. We will look at that in a bit more detail. Then you can see sometimes bubbles or fizzing, especially if a gas is being made. Then sometimes sweet and nice smell can be examples as well. So there are many useful and some annoying examples of chemical change, and we use something like this, like what we call word or symbol equation, to represent chemical change. So the reactants are the starting material, then what you make we call the product. In summary, physical changes are easy to reverse. No new substance is formed in a physical change. Again, mass stays the same. In a chemical change, chemical reactions happen. You can't reverse easily. Chemical reactions produce new substances, so what you get is different from what you started off with. Again, mass is conserved except a gas is made and you allow it to escape, otherwise the mass stays the same. Thank you very much, and I hope this will help you in terms of understanding physical and chemical changes.